Hi guys, welcome to another episode of GSM Nation TV. Today we've got the T-Mobile G2 with Google. This is made by HTC. Now, as you can see, this is the T-Mobile build of the G2. If you've been reading the news, you might have heard of a phone called the HTC Desire Z. Now this is almost the same phone, except the Desire Z was built for Europe. And in the US, we've got the T-Mobile, and it's called the G2. So this is the next predecessor to the G1. The one we've got here is that Google Titanium kit, so it's got a pretty cool color. But let me just show you by looking at the phone itself. There we go. Very beautiful. Cover just slides right off. You can see on the phone here, you can see already it's got a dual color, so it's kind of a little bit gray and silver around the LCD, and then towards the bottom it's got that nice darker gray itself. Okay, so let's take a look at the phone. I'm also going to turn on the, there you go, so you can see a little bit of the screen. It's turned on. Let's take a look at what the phone looks like all around the hardware side. So on the top over here, you've got the power button, and you've got the 3.5mm headset jack. On the left-hand side, you got the volume rocker. Okay, we've got a micro USB port where you charge the phone and connect other accessories to it. And let's go on to the right-hand side. On the right-hand side, what we've got over here is we've got the camera button. And then what you'll notice is if you slide over just a little more, if I can get that angle there. Okay, what is this? You've never seen this before, have you? We're going to pull down and we're going to see what kind of magic comes out of this phone. So if you pull down on this, if I can do it without scratching it, it's actually the battery cover. So this is a latch for the battery cover. Pretty cool, right? Let's try to get that back on there. And this battery cover is pretty heavy. It's solid. There is the camera over here, and you got an LED flash. We'll talk about the camera more a little bit later. Let's go back to the front. And out in the front, what you have here is you've got the 4 main buttons at the bottom. So that's home, menu, back, and you got the search key. Now these are all kind of standard Google and Android stuff. And then you've got one thing that's very different about this phone is you want to take a look at the QWERTY keypad, which pops up like this. Can I see it again? So slide down and then slide up. I accidentally pressed the ringer button there. Okay, now I'm going to try to get a special angle for you. This is actually called a Z-hinge. It's kind of been controversial among the cell phone community, but you can kind of see here it's a little bit of a Z as it wiggles back and forth. Now, some people think it's just going to break off. Some people think this is really flimsy. Some people really like it. And to be honest, I think that the result came out a lot better than people expected. It is a lot more sturdy, and I don't think that this is a flimsy hinge at all. One thing that's also kind of interesting is with this QWERTY, you can see these keys right here. These are the customizable keys. So you can set these to be anything you want. In terms of QWERTY keypad function, it is pretty sturdy. It's right up there with the BlackBerry classes, and you know, HTC has made so many phones lately and so many high-end phones that you would expect them to do a pretty good job. The other noticeable difference in this phone compared to some of the HTC phones you might be used to is the fact that this phone has got an optical trackpad. Now, if you take one look at this, for all of you BlackBerry users, you might find this to be very familiar with the BlackBerry 9700 Bold that's recently come out. It's the same idea. You can scroll across and you can see how the menus will move with my fingers. I don't actually have to press down on it. It just moves right along. Anyone who's ever used the actual HTC Desire itself, you'll also remember the optical trackpad. And of course, if you press down on it, you'll go straight into the application. So that's what we want to see on the outside of the phone. Talking about the hardware on the phone. Well, this phone's packing Qualcomm's 800 MHz MSM7230 processor. Now, you might say 800 MHz. Isn't that slower than the 1 GHz processor we're seeing on a lot of the other phones? Actually, no. The reason is because this is actually the next generation processor, so it's a different class. It'd be like comparing, a year ago Pentium to a year later's Pentium. Even though the gigahertz speed is a little lower. It's actually very fast, it's very zippy, and you'll find that a lot of these cool apps run quite well on it. It does carry 4 gigabytes of storage, and it's got 512 megabytes of RAM. Let's play a little bit more with the phone, and we'll go straight into the OS for you. So this phone is running Android 2.2. That's the Froyo build for all of you Android freaks out there. It's a pretty standard build, so it's nothing that you've not seen before. They haven't done anything to really customize it too much. One thing you are going to notice if you are an Android user is that there's a lot of this web to go. There's a lot of these places. This is what we call bloatware, and you can't delete it. It's installed by T-Mobile. A lot of people hate it. Some people like it if you want to just get more free stuff, but ultimately you can't delete it and you can't get rid of it. And that's why people call it bloatware. It also takes up a lot of resources. But enough of that. So you see the screen looks pretty nice, and maybe what we'll do is we'll click into one of these applications here. We'll click into Earth and just let it run. And what you can see is that this is actually 3.7 inches, and even though the trend now is to go with things like AMOLED or to go with, well, now it's like Super AMOLED or Retina, what they've got here is actually just a more traditional LCD. It's a WVGA almond screen. That's the kind of display it's boasting. It still seems pretty good though. What we noticed here is that a lot of the text is still quite dark. Color's still very clear, so it doesn't seem to be a bad thing that they went with the LCD instead of going with any of the new fad screens that are popping up nowadays. Let's take a look at the camera now. So I'm going to press the camera button from the side, pop open the camera application. You can see we are shooting the GSM Nation sign over here. It's got a 2-layer focus, so we can press down here, it'll focus on, and then we can snap the picture. Okay. So it's got that great autofocus. You can just kind of wave your hand above it. It's a little bit out of focus. Then when I press again, see, it focuses, and it holds the focus. And when I press down, that's when it takes the picture. All right, you see the phone. It's got a camera here. This is 5.0 megapixels. We've got the LED flash. If I go back to the application, you already saw that it has the autofocus. It's also got macro, so it's a pretty robust camera. You can click over here and go into video mode, and what you'll see when we record is you'll see that, well, you won't see it, but it's actually recording in 720p. So that is HD for you. So this is quite a contender when it comes to the camera. Next thing I'm going to show you is the browser. So I'm going to go back over here and let's use the search at the top. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to select our favorite website, gsmnation.com. Now I just did the search through Google, and Google returned GSM Nation. I'm on Wi-Fi right now. So let's load the website. See, it's loading really fast. Pop straight up. Continue here. Okay, now I can go into landscape view. Just twist the phone. And then you'll see our favorite website, where we are currently promoting some of the hottest deals on HTC phones with the G2 Desire included. And you can see this is kind of the standard Android build nowadays. I don't really have to go through details and show you guys because you kind of are used to what the Android is now. You got the pinch zoom. That's pretty much it. Final words for the HTC or T-Mobile G2 is that it is kind of the high-end phone for HTC if you're looking for this pretty cool QWERTY keypad. The phone is a little heavy. It's about, I think it's a little heavier than your iPhone, and it's heavier than all the other HTC phones. But sometimes when you're paying this much for a phone, you want it to have a little bit of weight, so it seems like you got something expensive. This Z hinge is quite addictive. I can probably do this all day long and not even realize I'm doing it, or until part of the phone falls off. So, we'll see what happens first. In terms of the hardware and software, it is pretty top of the line. It's nothing major, it's nothing that hasn't been done before, and I think with the G2, what everyone is looking for is just to see a very steady Android build on a good HTC model that's competitive, and they want to see it with a QWERTY keypad that works well and is integrated with the phone. And I think Google and HTC have worked well, along with T-Mobile, to make this a reality on this product. That's it for GSM Nation TV. Thanks and have a great day.